What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things Anthony Richardson had to say the first time that Anthony Richardson has spoken to the media since after the season in January. So it was nice to see him in front of the camera, see what his reaction is to the quarterback competition and the things that he's done this offseason. Some interesting stuff being said, and so we're going to talk about it here and let you guys know that if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button. Lets me know what you guys are into, and make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you get notified anytime we drop any content. Gonna have a video tomorrow after the draft, so make sure you're subscribed. So as we get into this one, all right, talking about Anthony Richardson, what he said. Now, of course, the big thing is, hey, how does Anthony Richardson feel about the quarterback competition? What did he say? And when it comes to that, he said, all the things that you would expect him to say, and he said all the things that he should say. But it's just like, as I sit here and I watch Anthony, because he came in so young, and it's the thing we always talk about here, like he came in so young, there's so much development, not even as a football player, as a man, that he has to do, and as a human developing into life, right? And as he's approaching 23, he'll be 23 next month, May 22nd, I believe, is his birthday. And with his birthday coming up, and him going to be 23 years old, he came in the league at 20 years old. I just feel like you can see the growth. As you listen to him, I mean, you just look at him and see, much more clean cut than he was coming out of college. Obviously had the dreads, and look sweet coming out of college, but very clean cut right now. So he just looks the part. The way he's talking. It's not only about football, it's some of the other stuff and some of the ways that he talks about the game that you can tell like he's taking parts of the game to his life and parts of life to his game. And when you get a football player in general, any of these NFL players, when you're at the highest level, right, NBA, NFL, it doesn't really matter, marrying the two, right? Marrying the two, making sure your life is football. That's what this is. And it sounds like he's on his way to that being the case, right? Doing everything he can to prepare the right way, everything he can to continue to get better, everything he can to take care of his body, right? And so when you talk about the quarterback competition and how he's talking about the quarterback competition, it's just really nice and refreshing to see him talk about, well, hey, this is what I've always done, right? In high school, I had to compete just to get on the field in high school, right? As a quarterback, again, doesn't have a whole lot of experience even in high school, but was able to get on the field, win the job, end up at Florida, right? With as little experience as he has, he found a way to end up at Florida, right? Goes to Florida, and then he also talks about the quarterback competition with Emory, I believe was his name, at Florida, right, his sophomore year. And that was on and off, and Anthony sort of played because the other quarterback got an injury, I'm pretty sure is what that situation was. And then but he proved that he could play there in his sophomore year. And then his junior year he plays, right? And again, there's some injury there, and that's kind of one of the other things that gets mentioned throughout this press conference when you talk about Anthony Richardson, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But it was just, again, nice to see him point out, like, hey, I've done this before. Quarterback competition, nothing new. And also, like, just thinking back on it, and some of Anthony's teammates were asked about this in their press conferences about, like, how he handles pressure. You think back on situations that the Colts have been in, like close game situations, Anthony has been really good, mostly really good under pressure. Obviously, we haven't come out on top in all those games, right? Pointing back to his rookie year when, in those first couple games, he had got us close in a couple, but we were never able to win those games. But I think Anthony has shown that under pressure, right, when he's under pressure in those situations, he can come out on top. So hopefully Anthony can figure it out. Sounds like he's figured it out mentally. And then from the body standpoint and from an injury standpoint, he was asked about his back. It was something that popped up at the end of last season, and we didn't really have a whole lot to go off of. And it's not like we got a whole lot of insight, but it is something where Anthony was asked about it, and he said that he said it's not an ongoing problem, but there is preventative maintenance that he is doing, like things that he does daily for preventative maintenance, and so that scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, that one scares me a little bit. Back issues, NFL. Doesn't seem like the greatest combination. It's one thing that worries me about Q, but Q seems to have gotten better. Shaq Leonard did not. So hopefully those preventative measures that he takes are good enough to keep him on the field. And hopefully that's going to be a non-issue. But something that just kind of slipped into the press conference that I was like, I don't know if I like that. But we'll see what happens with that. Again, hopefully he's going to be okay from that avenue. But going on to some of the other things he talked about, like what the work that he's put in. He did not work directly with Josh Allen. He worked with the same people that have worked with Josh Allen. He did not work directly with Josh Allen. He did debunk that theory, that offseason theory. I thought Josh Allen's the one that said he was going to work with Anthony, and that ended up not happening. So who knows? But he didn't work with him. But I loved a lot of the things that Anthony had to say about how this offseason has gone, because and I don't even I'm just a guy, right? I'm just a guy. I feel like I know a good bit about football and the business of how things go, and I think I'm pretty good at putting things together. But I feel like I pretty much smashed this one on the head, where I've told you guys since last offseason that we need Anthony Richardson to finish a season healthy, so that he can go into the off season not having to rehab, not having to worry about healing his body. He can take his little vacation like every player does, and then come back, get straight to work. And once he can finally focus for the first time, finally focus on just becoming a better quarterback. You don't have to do combine training. You don't have to rehab. You don't have to be in college. I mean, college is just a whole different thing. Who knows what they're doing in college, right? I have no idea what they're doing in college. And so when you think about this offseason, it was so crucial for him to be healthy going into the offseason, because now he's been able to work on himself. He's been able to work on just honing things in. And it's something that in the past, again, just he's really good at generally saying the right things for the most part, but there are just ways that he's answered the question about him as a quarterback in the past. It's like, I think you need to. There needs to be some realistic expectation here. Sounds like there's realistic expectations, and that's one part of the growth and the maturity, right? And finally being able to say, like, hey, listen, I know that there's a problem. I'm working on the problem. That's what he talked about, is the work that he's been able to put in. He's talked about knowing, like, somebody sat down with him and told him everything that everybody has talked about, like everything that's wrong. Like, hey, bro, you gotta figure out your mechanics. And he talked about, keeping his feet set, right? As long as feet are set, hips are squared, like, good to go. Everything else is going to come with it. So he understands the footwork that goes into it, the things that he needs to do to become a great quarterback. Somebody sat down and said, hey, dude, you need to do this, 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 and this. And these are things we need to work on. And these are things that you need to do every time, because you're not doing them well enough and your team is suffering. And you want to become a starter in the NFL. These are things you need to do. And it just sounds like, from what Anthony's talking about, sure sounds like the right messaging is getting in. If these are the things that he's repeating outwardly, then I would love to see him continue to progress. Now, we still have plenty of offseason here, right? Still plenty of offseason. Training camp starts in 3 months. The season doesn't start until like a month and a half after training camp. Okay, so we still have some offseason. We still have some work for Anthony to put in. And so just continuing to put in the work through the summer and through the offseason. And then let's go into training camp with Anthony. All the things that he's telling himself every day and all the things that he's working on every day as a quarterback. And let's go to training camp and let's see what Anthony does. Watch him show out. That's what I hope for. I hope to be able to be in attendance for it. Hoping that with the day job, right? I tell you guys about the day job all the time. Getting promotions and whatnot, I get some vacation time, so some paid vacation time. So gonna look to take that right around training camp. I hope I can make it to a good amount of training camp practices. Can't stay in Indiana long enough for the whole thing, but would like to make it to a few training camp practices, see Anthony Richardson getting better in real time. And also, again, I've been a Daniel Jones fan, so I'd kind of like to see Daniel Jones rocking the horseshoe, and I just think training camp this year for the Colts is going to be electric. I just have a feeling training camp this year is going to be electric, and I want to be there for some of it. And again, a lot of what we do in 2025 hinges on our quarterback, Anthony Richardson, and what he's able to do in 2025. But just from, the 8-minute interview that he had, like a lot of the things, the maturity, you can see the maturity happening. You can hear the maturity happening. Really enjoy what I'm seeing from Anthony Richardson or hearing from Anthony Richardson, and hope that I enjoy seeing some stuff from Anthony Richardson this upcoming season. You guys let me know what you think about Anthony Richardson and things that he had to say. If you heard the interview, if not, what do you think about the things that we talked about here? You let me know down in the comment section. Of course, make sure if you enjoy the content, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. As always, appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.